I mean, literally, back in the day when I lived in Madrid, sure, I had to spoke to you in Spanish, no problem. But at this point, like after having not lived there for a decade, I've forgotten a lot. And I live in Michigan, so before I was fine. Like when I was in Miami, I used it all the time. Nobody speaks
A lot of
Spanish here.
Latins there.
Yeah.
But in Michigan, there are a lot of Spanish also, no?
Yeah. Hey, you stay off the camera for a minute. I have a bunch of cats here that are very hungry, which makes them very interested in everything that's going on. So I'll be able to get them on camera, no problem. But
okay,
yeah.
Perfect. So you live in Madrid. That's nice.
I used to.
You study there?
Now I live in Detroit now.
You are now in Detroit.
Detroit, yeah.
Okay. Well, first, congratulations. Well, first, thank you very much for this interview for Azteca al Extremo. I was in a not expecting interview. That's why I'm outside of the TV.
No worries.
But thank you very much for your time and your being patient. And
I just finished an interview with RTL from Germany. So like they sent a film crew to my house. So
really?
Yeah.
From Germany? Wow.
From Germany. I could show you the clip if you want to see it later, but yeah, it's nuts. So they just, I mean, I've had people interviewing me from everywhere on earth. I mean, it was for that first week at the very least, it was on every news outlet everywhere, all of the time. Every human I had ever known that like was like, oh, hey, I saw you, because like I was on everything.
So Fenrir is very famous now.
Sorry. Yeah, he's a big boy.
But that's nice. Your purpose with him is very nice. So first, thank you very much for this interview. And tell me a little bit about, well, first, how did you get this world record?
Sure. Guinness. So that's a long story. So I'll just kind of start at the beginning. Back in the day, when I went to medical school, I was lonely, lived by myself. And so I decided to get a cat. So I went to the shelter and I got a cat. And I named him Regulus. And, you know, he seemed really, really thrilled when I was there, but he seemed like he was lonely when I wasn't around. And I felt bad that I'd spend 8 hours at class all day and he'd be in the house by himself. So I said, I better get a second cat. So I got a second cat and I searched for a cat named Sirius on Pet Finder because I thought I named all my cats after stars. So I was like, let's see what cats named Sirius look like. And so I found Sirius on Pet Finder and he was a Bengal. And so I had my first like exotic cat. He was a Bengal cat. I rescued him from the Great Lakes Bengal Rescues where he came from. And after I had him for a while, I was like, maybe I want to get a Savannah cat. I like these exotic cats. They're a lot of fun. They're way more playful. Like they play games and fetch and, you know, they're just a lot more active than regular cats. So I decided to get a Savannah cat. So I found a breeder in Michigan and I got Arcturus Aldebaran Powers, which is the original world record holder back in 2017. I got her from him. I got him from her, rather. Sorry. Her name is Stacy Dallas. She is Starfell Savannah Cats in Traverse City, Michigan. Savannah cats are really hard to breed. There aren't that many of them. There's probably less than 2,000 F2 Savannahs like Fenrir in the world. They're very hard to make, basically, because you usually only get like one kitten per litter, maybe two if you're lucky. But then I had Arcturus. And then shortly after I got Arcturus, my original Maine Coon cat, Regulus, suddenly got nasal cancer and passed like this. And it was awful because Arcturus was this super active kitten. And at this point, what's his name? Sirius was like 9 years old. He was slowing down a whole lot. And so I had this crazy active kitten. And then I had this older Bengal. And it was hard on Sirius. So I said, I better get a kitten for my kitten. So I got another Maine Coon. And he was named Cygnus Regulus Powers after Regulus. And so I'm a physician. And I have a degree in chemistry and neuroscience and other stuff before I went to med school. So I decided when I got these cats, I was going to make a diet for them that would be biochemically superior to whatever you could get like from the store. So I came up with this custom diet and there's all kinds of stuff in it, from porcine bone meal to monomers of their essential amino acids and all kinds of stuff. And I fed it to them from the time they were little. And literally both Arcturus and Cygnus grew massive. They grew huge. And Cygnus scared me a little bit because his tail was getting so long that as a physician, when you see people that have like a really, really tall, they have long fingers and hands or other stuff that's kind of looks almost deformed, there's often a syndrome or problem. So this cat, he has this tail that's like nearly 18 inches long, and I was worried about it. So I posted him on the internet on the subreddit called Ask a Vet on Reddit. And I said, hey, I've got this cat, and he's otherwise seems perfectly healthy, but his tail is insanely long. Do I need to be worried? Is there something wrong with him? And the vets were like, we don't think there's anything wrong. It's just kind of weird. But Guinness saw the photo. He went viral on Reddit. He went to like, somebody took my cat's picture and posted, was like, look at this crazy cat tail. And Guinness saw it and reached out to me and said, hey, that tail is really long. Would you mind measuring it for us to see how long it is? I said, sure. So I measured him, and he was about 2.5 inches longer than the all-time world record at that point. He had crushed it. It like wasn't even close. So Guinness said, we want to put him in our book. We're going to send a film crew out to your house to film them and take pictures and take official measurements. And so they did. And then what happened is while they were at the house, they saw Arcturus. And Arcturus was absolutely massive, just like Fenrir. And so they measured him and said, oh my God, he's so tall. And then they were like, oh my God, he's the tallest cat to have ever lived. He was taller than the prior cat that was really, really tall. So I had 2 Guinness World Record cats. And at that time I was president of the Ferndale Cat Shelter. And I used their fame to like do charity events effectively. In their short tenure of having their records, we raised about $40,000 for cat shelters, which was really cool. But unfortunately, about a month and a half after they got their world records, we had a house fire. And I woke up and the house was on fire. My wife at the time she was at work. She's a physician too. And I basically searched for the cats until I collapsed. The first responders showed up and they dragged me out, but they did not save the cats. And so I lost everything. The house burned to the foundation. Pretty much all the stuff I owned after that point would fit in a 5-gallon bucket. It was awful. And I was messed up for a while mentally. My wife at one point ended up I'll put it this way. She left me for someone else. She recently got married to the woman she left me for. Good for her. But like, it was pretty awful. My whole life got wrecked. And so I was really mentally unwell for a long time. But eventually I missed having cats more than I felt awkward about being around cats. I couldn't be I couldn't be the president of the cat shelter after that. I just couldn't do it. I was mentally too messed up, and being around like kittens and cats made me like really, really upset emotionally. And it was a while till I got mentally better enough that I could handle that. And then I decided, you know what, it's time to get some cats again. So I got some kittens. I got Hyperion and Polaris, who are my 2 Bengals. And then the breeder of Arcturus said, hey, listen, this kitten was just born. He's the half brother of Arcturus. And that's my cat, Phoenix. And then the breeder of Cygnus, the long-tail cat, said, hey, we just had another cat born that's related to Cygnus. And that's Altair, who's my long-tail cat. But after about 2 years, when I'd had those original cats, the original breeder of Arcturus, the tallest cat to ever live, said, hey, listen, I didn't want to tell you until I was sure, but I've been trying to like produce a kitten from the same parents for you since that time. And shockingly, I have 2. And there were 2 boys born into that litter that were the direct full brothers of the original world record cat. And that's Fenrir and Arcturus, who is now the tallest living cat, and Corvus Arcturian, which is my other cat that is just, he's, his litter mate. So I have 6, but 2 of them have Guinness World Records, and 2 of them had Guinness World Records before. So the original cats have the all-time record. They're the tallest ever and the longest tail ever. When these guys were growing, I talked to Guinness and I said, hey, listen, same genetics, same food, it's happening again. And they really wanted me to measure them so that they could do it again, because it's a great interest story for Guinness. And then basically what happened was I said, okay, well, here's the deal. I'll measure them, but I want to measure them now before they grow any bigger, because I didn't want to break the records from the prior cats. I like the fact that they have those all-time records. It's like a good thing for their memory. And so I took the living record. And so now basically it's finally out. And the whole world knows that Fenrir grew to be absolutely gargantuan, and Altair has an incredibly long tail. And so they have both the tallest cat alive and the longest tail on a cat alive records now. So that's like the whole story from start to finish. And so the cats work now at my Fenrir does. Altair does not, because he's a big floofy boy to give people allergies. But they work at my practice as therapy cats. I'm a family physician. I take care of regular old people. I take care of a lot of the LGBT population. I'm an HIV specialist, so I take care of people with HIV. And then I take care of what's called marginalized populations. So people that don't feel comfortable going to the doctor otherwise. There's a group in Detroit called the Detroit House of Pain. They do the like BDSM stuff. They get hurt. They do some crazy sex stuff and they get injured. And my clinic welcomes them. We are kind of like a no judgment clinic. We accept anybody, no matter what your thing is. So the cats work there at the clinic all day long. And because they're exotic hybrids, they're hypoallergenic. So they just follow me room to room. So I'll go see a patient, walk into the room, Fenrir will follow behind me, hop up on the table. And like I was telling another interviewer, it was maybe about a couple of weeks ago, maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago now, I had to tell a patient that they tested positive for HIV. we got their confirmatory test back and they're positive. And, I had to break this news to them. And so as always, I have to go into the room, sit down and tell somebody this like life-changing diagnosis. But Fenrir comes along with me and walks in the room, hops up next to the patient. And this is a patient that was terrified of finding this out. And I'm fully expecting them to have like a mental meltdown because they were having a meltdown before with just the possibility. So finding out that it really happened, I thought they were not going to do very well mentally. But Fen hops up on the table, patient starts petting him, and is like, the big boy's here. And they're so excited and they see the giant cat and they're petting him and blah, blah. And I start explaining to them, listen, like we got the confirmatory test, it's positive. Unfortunately, this means you do have HIV. I can treat you. I have meds. There's things I can do. I'll make sure that you don't die of this. You won't get sick. Everything will be okay. But I'm normally telling this to somebody and they are sobbing. The normal reaction to finding out you have HIV is generally people are very emotionally upset. And this patient's just petting the cat, like, okay, that sounds good. All right. Okay. And just not freaking out. And that's been my experience with him with a lot of these different places that, a lot of different times when I take him to places and or patients see him, he calms them down a lot. He gives people like I don't know. It's just, it's a unique experience to see a cat this big, but even more strange that he's so friendly. He's super affectionate and loving, which is very odd. But from the time he was a little kitten, I knew I wanted to do this with him. I didn't know he'd have a world record, but I knew I wanted him to work at my practice as a therapy cat. So I raised him to be super friendly to people, to be able to handle being touched and this and playful, and it works. And so all of my cats are like that. You can just hold them and do whatever to them, and they're really, really friendly, even to strangers. It's great. So that's the short story version, I guess, but it took me almost 10 minutes to describe it to you. So you can ask me whatever you want, but that'll tell you kind of what's up.
Oh, but it seems that you haven't done a lot of interviews. That's why you know what to say.
I know what you want to
exactly
know because I've done, this is like the 80th interview I've done.
Exactly. You are repeating. But no. You answer me most of my question. Just I have one question more about the therapy, cat therapy. Just for HIV or another kind of disease?
It's for everyone. So my clinic, I have a very strange clinic, like I was telling you. I'm a family physician. So in the United States, that's like a primary care provider. It's the doctor you go to when you have a sinus infection. Like no big deal, right? Preventative medicine. We order the mammograms. We check the colonoscopies. We do the basic stuff. If you get like a really bad rash, I would treat it. And if I can't fix it, then I send you to a dermatologist. I'm the first guy in the line, if that makes sense. But besides just being that, I also take care of the LGBT population, which I do originally because I became an HIV specialist. So I learned how to also treat HIV, which is what's called AAHIVM board certified. It's the American Academy of HIV Medicine. I have their certification. It says I can treat HIV. So that's in addition to my regular family practice. So because I have that and the regular family practice, I tend to see a lot of LGBT people, transgender people with HIV. And then my clinic got known for being like the place you can go where a doctor's not going to judge you. I don't really care. If somebody comes to me with a problem, it's not my job to judge them. It's my job to heal them. So like I said, the BDSM people see me from Detroit. They get hurt doing the whips and chains stuff and they need to be stitched up. And they can't go to a regular old doctor or urgent care because they'll think this person's being abused or they're lying about what's happening. And I know what they do. And so it's fine. I have bodybuilders that come to me that want to get off the juice because like I won't write them anabolic steroids, but I'll help them fix the damage they did. It's called harm mitigation, basically. But no matter who you are, you can come to my clinic and I'll treat you like a person. And so that's what made it very unique. And so my clinic draws in people from actually all over the world. I have 4 patients that come to see me from Perth, Australia, which is about as far away as you can possibly see me from without leaving the planet itself. If you're on the space station, maybe that'd be farther away, but otherwise, 4 from that part of, I have multiple Australian patients, but they fly in. I treat transgender people and I developed a lot of new ways of treating them with special hormone protocols. One of the things I do is it's a custom made implant that elutes hormones slowly. And it's kind of like, I put like a Tic Tac under your skin and it contains hormones and then you can just go live your life. You don't have to take pills every day. You don't have to do injections. They generally last about a year. So these patients fly in from other countries and I implant them into them and then they get their home, all the monitoring and stuff gets done by their home doctor. But they get access
what
to
kind of disease? That thing that you put on them?
This is gender dysphoria, people who are transgender. Like to do the transition. I do that. I do everything, basically. If you have a sinus infection, high blood pressure, diabetes, HIV, you get hurt doing some whips and chains stuff, You want to fix the fact that you were a bodybuilder and you've used anabolic steroids, you're transgender and you want to do a gender trans. Like I'm a jack of all trades doctor. I do pretty much anything, but my clinic is known for welcoming everybody. So like, no matter who you are or where you're from, we don't care. We treat you like a person. And that's.
Oh, okay. I get it.
Yeah.
And for me, and how is day by day? How is Fenrir in house? How is his personality?
Sure.
Not only with the patient, with you, with his owner in the house.
He is a big, goofy, lovable idiot. It's about the best way to describe him. Do you know how dogs get the zoomies? That thing where they get really excited and they start running around and being crazy? He does that as a cat. So he will get the zoomies, but he weighs 35 pounds. So to describe this is like having a toddler that can jump on top of your refrigerator from the floor. So like he can do in crazy, crazy physical feats, but at the same time is a cat. But like he'll play fetch with me. He loves to play rough. Like when you play with a dog and you play like pretend fight with the dog. Cats don't do that. They would not be a fan of that. He loves to be roughed up. Absolutely loves it. He loves to be played with.
And exactly, and that's why it's my question, because he's very tall. Like, how do you play with him? How is he in the house, because he's so long?
So generally speaking, this house is set up for them. I would not recommend somebody get a Savannah cat who doesn't know what they're doing. I mean, I already had an exotic cat and I was very well versed in how to take care of them. But when I built this house was built with them in mind. I mean, you can literally see even behind me, like some of the cat tree stuff and structures, like through this room goes to a place I call the cat master. It's the cat master bedroom. It's literally their bedroom. And I'm having a custom tree, like a synthetic tree built into the wall for them to be able to like climb up and go around the windows. And then there's like an outdoor enclosure they can go with. This whole house is set up for them. It's a cat house. I mean, people are always like, oh, it doesn't smell in here. Like they come in my house because I have 6 cats. They'll think it's going to smell like cats, but it doesn't. I have special rooms that I built into the house that are in a hospital. When somebody has COVID or another infectious respiratory disease, we put them in a room called a negative pressure isolation room. Think of it like this. You're blowing a fan into the room and then you're blowing a fan out the window. So air gets sucked from the hallway and blown outside. That way the person's infection doesn't get blown to the hospital, it gets blown outside. It's called negative pressure. Like if you were to like light a cigarette in that room, the smoke would just go out the window immediately. It wouldn't stay in the room, it would just get sucked out. I have rooms in this house that are set up like that have negative pressure isolation in them, that's where their litter boxes are. So basically they go in and they use the litter box in there, but beyond the threshold of the door, you can't smell anything because it's just, the air gets sucked right out as soon as they do their business. This whole house was set up for him with this in mind, knowing that I was going to have these cats and do this, but there's a lot of cool stuff built into this house for them. He is just, I don't know, Fenrir is a big, lovable doofus. He's super friendly. He loves to snuggle people. He loves to rub against you and he likes to play. He really likes to play. He's powerful. He's immensely strong. I mean, he's 35 pounds. He's super duper strong. I can grab him if you want to see him.
Yeah, I want to see him.
Okay. Here, Ben. Ben. Up. Ben. Come here. Ben. Here, bud. Where are you going? Ben. Ben, come on. So there he is. And that's his Bengal brother, so it gives you a good idea of the size difference between him and a regular cat. This is a big cat. Like, Hyperion's a big cat. Fen is another thing entirely. Actually, here's Altair. Hey, Altair. Come out, say hi. Crunchy. Crunchy for Fenrir. Crunchy for Hyperion.
Hi, Fenrir. Hi. He can say hi. Hi, Fenrir.
Good boy. So, I mean, literally, I can hold him and it gives you, now he's behind me, but when I hold him, it'll give you an idea of his actual size.
Wow.
Yeah, he's big. So it's like hard to describe how large he actually is until like you see him with me. He's a monster. And his head, let's see if I can get his head up next to my head. His head is as big as a softball. I am a 6'3", 200-pound man. And so he is just, he big boy. But he's so like, he's super chill though. Like he has absolute trust.
You can put his on his teeth, like in the table. Can I see how tall is he?
You get a thing.
Wait, 1 second. Let's see how tall. Vamos a ver qué tan alto es Fenrir.
Here, Fenrir. Ben. Up. Ben. Come here. Ben. Up. So that's a can of Coke. I'll stand behind the table so I can position it better. God damn it. Herding cats, it's a thing. Ben. Come here. Who wants crunchies? Crunchies? Who wants crunchies? You want crunchie? Here. Oh, crunchies on the table. There you go. Everybody wants crunchies. Come on up. All right, let me grab it. Ben. What you doing, big boy? What you doing? Ben, come here. He wants to play. I don't know if you can see him. He's literally running around trying to play with me right now. He thinks I'm trying to play with him. Come here. All right. Now come over here so they can see how big you are. Okay.
Vamos a ver qué tan alto es Fenrir.
So here is a can of Coke.
Okay.
Got that? Come here. Stand up straight. That give you an idea? Here's him literally standing next to a can of Coke.
And he cannot be like this.
So I mean, if I stand up like this, hi, stand up straight. Ooh,
Wow.
Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. Oh, good boy, gives daddy a kiss. Come here. Right. So that's his brother, Phoenix. That's his half brother. So Phoenix is half related to Arcturus. That's Arcturus' half brother. Fenrir is his full brother. So you can see Phoenix is a big cat, but not as big as Fenrir. Nobody's as big as Fenrir. He is a whole other thing entirely.
And how do you feel that everybody is interviewing you? How do you feel share your story? Like Fenrir is a world cat. That now Fenrir is a famous cat. How do you feel about that?
It's great. It's great because the plan with him and what my original plan was with his brother before he passed in the house fire was to use him as a lure. So basically, on Saturday he has his first charity appearance scheduled. So we're going to be working with a Ferndale cat shelter, and there's an event downtown that they're doing, and so he will be there. And as part of the event, the people, just random strangers, can come and meet the Guinness World Record cat. So they show up to the thing and they pay like $5, and they can hold him and take pictures with him and all the other stuff for the Instagram. And then that money goes to the shelter. And so it's great because his world record basically is going to be used to raise funds for Detroit shelter cats. That's why I did all this in the first place. That's why I was like on board with it. When Guinness was like, hey, do you want to do this? I was, yeah, that sounds great, because I was president of a cat shelter. So finally, now that he has the record that his brother had, I can go back to doing that charity work, because it sucked after they passed, besides the fact that they passed, which was absolutely horrible. One of the worst aspects was that I had these famous cats that, like I said, they raised $40,000 for the Ferndale cat shelter in the 2 months they had their world records. That much. So we helped a lot of cats with that amount of money. That would take in a stray, and that stray would get medical care and food and litter and this, and get it to an adoptable state. And then they get adopted by families. So the money that he raises by doing these events, here comes, hi, Hyperion. Okay, the money that he will raise by doing these charity events effectively is going to go to these shelters. And so people pay a couple dollars to take a picture with the famous cat and put it on their Instagram. And then that money is donated to the shelter to use to take care of like street cats and such. So I'm really excited about it. It's really cool.
That's very nice. And it's very nice that you start with the Ferris brother. I'm sorry, by the way, for the losing of your cat.
It's okay.
The loss of your cat. Well, thank you very much for this interview, for sharing your story with us. It's very nice. Your purpose is very nice. Something that would you like to add?
Let me think about that question.
Why cats, by the way?
Why cats?
Cats? Why cats
I don't
in
know.
your house? Come on, say.
So like I've always been this way, even since I was little. I had a golden retriever growing up and a cat. And I'm a guy, and normally guys like dogs and girls like cats, but I don't know. I'm just different. I'm autistic, if that matters. And so you can look at this house, right? I like video games. I like rocks. Like my house is full of crazy stuff. Like it's just like, I mean, I could show you some of like my rock collection, but like I like rocks and video games and nerdy stuff. I'm weird. I'm autistic. I'm a very high functioning autistic, but I am. And so for me, cats were just the thing I liked the most. I like the fact that with cats, you don't just like earn their love because you give them a steak. You could take any guard dog and I can go up to that, whoa, 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 and I throw it a steak and it's like, oh, okay, cool. You gave me a steak and that's it. Cats are not. You have to earn the respect of a cat. You have to really like form a bond with it that you develop through trust over time. And there's an Irish proverb that says, do not trust people who do not like cats. Because in general, what I find is that people who don't like cats are the kind of people who they violate other people's boundaries. They're not respectful of other people, because you can't just like go up to a cat and be like, you will come here and you will receive pets. Like they don't respond well to that. The cat has to choose. They have to have their own like autonomy in it. Whereas dogs want to please humans. We've bred that into them. Naturally, they want to make you happy. So they want to do what you want to do. That's I can call over here. They're like, hey, Corvus, come here. Corvus. Hey, Corvus. Yeah. So he's going to look at me and be like, nah, he doesn't want to get up right now. He just doesn't. Now, if I call somebody else and I say, hey, and I'm offering them something, who wants some crunchies? Oh, here he comes. Come here, big boy. He's going to block the whole screen, but go ahead. So there he is. So he comes when called. And I'll say, hey, and he's motivated because he wants a thing that I'm going to give him. And he knows that. So he'll follow that command. But if I take him and I'm like, all right, Fen, I need you to come do this. He doesn't want to do it. He just won't. Like a person. So like, if I told you, I want you to come to my house and I want you to do my laundry, you'd be like, no. But a dog would want to do the laundry is kind of the whole point. Cats don't. You have to have a bond with them. And I like that a lot more about cats than I do about dogs, is that they're a lot more like people.
You always had kids since you were a child?
I had one cat since I was one cat when I was a child, and I had one dog. And so growing up when I was a child, I had a cat and a dog. And so, I mean, I like golden retrievers. I like friendly dogs, but I vastly prefer cats in general. He's literally scavenging here right now, trying to get, you want more, huh? He's so tall that he can stand at the edge of a countertop and literally like put his paws up and grab stuff off the kitchen countertop. There's a lot of photos of him online.
I love him. He's so lovely.
I can give you a Google Drive folder if you email me that has lots of photos and video clips you can use.
Yes.
Random stuff.
How I can text you in your Instagram account, or where? How I can find you?
Instagram's fine, but I'll give you my email. It's easier.
Okay.
It's Dr. Powers, DoctorPowers, Dr. Powers, all written out, at powersfamilymedicine.com. POWERS, family, FAMILY, medicine.com. Dr.
Powers Family Medicine. Powersfamilymedicine.com.
That's correct.
Okay. Well, something that would you like to add?
Oh, yeah. So basically, what I would probably want to add if I were to say anything about this is that these cats, they're cool, right? He's really cool. He's great, blah, blah. They're not for everybody. I'm not advising that everybody get a Savannah cat, because they're kind of like owning a parrot, right? It's a very long commitment. These guys live longer than normal cats. They routinely live over 20 years. And so it's like a lifelong commitment to an animal that requires a lot of attention, a lot of care. They're very physically active. They can be destructive if you don't give them that. Like if he didn't have the things he needs to play and be active, he would get destructive. He would start chewing on stuff and being a bad boy, basically. But I give him outlets to be a good cat. because I respect the fact that he's kind of partly a wild animal. So I would recommend if somebody's really thinking about getting a Savannah cat, they really need to do their research and be sure that it's the right thing for them, because they are a lot of responsibility. And too many of them get adopted by people and then get brought back. They get turned in and they end up in the rescue network, or they get released like to the wild because the person can't take care of them. So that'd be like the one thing I would say it's really important. And the other is that basically the reason I did all this, why I wanted to come back from what happened to me after all the terrible things that we went through. And like I said, I mean, it was awful. My house burned to the ground. My cats died. I lost my job because I was mentally unwell, and my wife left me. I mean, I was very close to ending it for a while there. And I gradually clawed my way back because I wanted to do this again. I really wanted to have world record cats again so I could do the charity work.
Thanks, Fenrir.
Yep. I mean, they gave me a reason to dig out of that dark hole. I mean, I was severely depressed. I didn't actually practice medicine for a year and a half. I was like on disability mentally. Psychiatry would not clear me to go back to treating patients. I was that unwell. They were like, no, you can't. You're not ready. You're not ready. Finally, when they allowed me to go back to doing it, I decided to start my own practice. And practice is like video game themed. So all the different exam as a theme, like the Legend of Zelda or the Mushroom Kingdom from Mario or whatever. It's a very fun place. There's a lot of lights like this and other stuff. When you go in there, it's a warm, welcoming environment. I'll show you pictures so you can see what it looks like.
Okay.
But the practice is super friendly.
Just the last question. When is the one question? When was the fire?
November 12th, 2017.
17. Okay. And when
November
did you
12th.
recover? When did you recover? When did you start feeling better?
I'm still recovering. I'm still recovering. It's not one of those things you ever really get over. I mean, I want to cry, but like I miss those cats. I miss my old boys. I miss my old life. You don't ever really recover. You just sort of move forward, if that makes sense. It's one of those things. It's like a memory that, like finding their bodies in the burn pile when we finally unearth the rubble, is a memory I'll never be able to purge from my head. It's awful.
I can understand.
And so like,
but
I moved forward.
But such is life. No, everything is forever. So you need to
nothing is forever.
Life is short. Life is short. So
it really is.
Going, because we also will finish. Your body will finish.
I'm going to turn to dust eventually. And that was actually the thing that did it. So my patients, after the fire, we didn't know if the cats survived because I opened every door, window, passageway I could as the house burned around me to give them escape paths, because it was so smoky I couldn't see them. But I was like, try to give them ways out. We didn't know if they've made it out or not.
Before we start, the video will finish in 2 minutes.
Okay, got it.
Because
basically,
I
didn't know if they made it out, so we searched for the cats, and the people that helped me search were my patients. They just volunteered their time to look for them, and it was because those people came to me and said, Dr. Powers, we need you to come back. We need you to get back on your feet. We need you to start practicing medicine again because there's nobody here that provides this care. So it gave me a reason to kind of come back from the dark hole and do my job again.
Oh, your patient asked you to come back.
That's why. Many of them said, like, because I didn't work for 15 months. They were like, we need you to get better. We need you to come back. And they really supported me a lot. When I started my practice, my old patients came and helped me paint and like did construction. Like they helped me put the place together. They're good people, but they appreciate the care that I provide them. And so these people wanted to see that center exist again. And so they literally helped me rebuild it from scratch. And then now it's really successful, and they go there, and you know they're the people that brought me back from the brink.
Everything happened for a reason, and you will have a lot of success and helps a lot of cats in the shelter. So believe me, no time to give up or cry or nothing. Keep going.
I did enough crying. Don't worry.
Because keep going, because you have a very beautiful purpose in life.
I like what
Animals,
I do. It makes me feel good.
Support, and people that are discriminated needs your support.
Yeah.
So my last 1 minute, I have 1 minute. I will say, my nombre es Karina Nova. My name is Karina Nova. And you say, my name is William from where? Detroit? Where are you?
Mi nombre es, you want me to say Spanish?
Ajá.
Mi nombre es
Karina Nova.
Mi nombre es William Powers. Or mi nombre es William Powers. Estoy de los Estados Unidos. Vivo en Detroit, en Farmington Hills.
Y
soy un médico.
And then, no, just, my name is William from Estados Unidos, de Estados Unidos. Y yo digo, y esto es, decimos, al extremo. Because I finish always my interviews like that.
Mi nombre es Will Powers.
Al extremo.
Okay. Mi nombre es Will Powers y soy de los Estados Unidos.
No, again, wait, one second. 1, 2, 3. You say, y juntos somos ambos al extremo. The show is al extremo. Al extremo. You do this.
Juntos somos.
I say, juntos somos, and you say al extremo.
Got it. Okay. Ready? Go.